QVC Quality Violent Cinema.
What's up, everybody? We're here with Stephen Biro. This is Quality Violent Cinema. What's up, Christian?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, Stephen Biro?
I am good. I'm thrilled to be on QVC.
Oh yeah, did you ever think you'd be on the shopping
number
network?
one collectible outlet. And here today we have, look at these mini porcelain statues. Oh, don't you want one of these in your house? Sorry, Susie told me to make a joke about that.
Oh no, but yeah, no, we want it. It's incredibly encouraged. It's actually kind of funny because when you think about even QVC and like the original name, like quality value is like, do you really need like both of those like added in? It doesn't. I don't know. It just seems like it doesn't make sense.
And the original idea was like, what if we had like a QVC kind of station, but like spinning around on that conveyor belt was actually like an extreme horror film or something. So
yeah. And that's just like, and they're just like, hey, like, all right, we'll stop off for the trailer and we'll just show the trailer to the movie and stuff like that. So,
but it turned into this. So welcome.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I was just telling Christian, and I think I made a post about it, like I have been buying your movies since I got allowance. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think back when you were selling stuff at Best Buy is when I first started buying Unearthed.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, that was a different time.
Yeah.
When you had retailers and video stores.
Yeah. When you could find this stuff at Best Buy, it was a weird time.
Yeah.
And I have basically everything you've put out so far.
We know.
The only thing I know. Shut up. Just the Slaughter Vomit Doll original. I have the trilogy, but people aren't letting go of anything Slaughter Vomit, or anything Lucifer Valentine right now, just because of allegations.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of allegations. I mean, what did everybody expect?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw it in the works, kind of.
I thought it was
gonna
weird
happen.
that it took this long, honestly. Whether things are true or not, stuff gets thrown under the bus so much quicker than that. How long ago did Slaughter Vomit Dolls come out? A long time ago.
2008, 2009?
Yeah, and same with Regurgitated. You'd think that like a lot of the stuff would have happened a long time ago, but it kind of has. He's been getting shit since the beginning. So
Well, yeah, and that's the reason why he was anonymous, or tried to stay anonymous in the get-go. He knew what he was getting himself into.
do you have talks with him anymore, Steven?
Oh God, no, fuck that guy.
No, you guys aren't. You guys aren't cool.
No. He threatened to rape and kill my family in front of me.
Oh,
What?
really?
Wow.
Yeah. He refuses that he told me that, but no, he fucking definitely told me that.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, it was a while ago. Well, it was a good long time ago.
Decade or so? Or like after you did the releases and stuff, obviously.
Yeah. It was like 2010-ish. Yeah, 2010, I think.
But
it was when it was 2010. It was when we were being distributed by a company named Breaking Glass that was ripping us off. So he was ripping us off, which means filmmakers were getting ripped off too. So, yeah. So I got some threats and shit, and I'm like, "Fuck you." So yeah. Then his shit went out of print. So the Black Metal Veins. I heard some stories after we put it out, because I put it out as a fucked up type of after school special type of thing to show the horrors of fucking being a junkie, and the terrible thing is I had a stepdaughter at the time, and she actually started shooting up Oxycontins and shit. So I had her younger sister, and our grandmother sit down and watch the uncut version of Black Metal Veins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds rough.
That sounds effective too.
No, it didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that can really change somebody is themselves. Like, But I mean, that movie, I've never seen it. I've just seen like the reviews, the snippets, and stuff like that. But it looks like it's overkill on getting that message through.
A little bit, but then the thing is, it's mixed with also fake shit in it too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's fake blood. No, dude, that's not fake blood. I'm like, dude, yes, it is. Oh, it looks like that because they're junkies or what? Their blood's thinner. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, shut up. So yeah.
Over the years, how many hilarious things like that have you heard? I mean, we can go to the I remember having a conversation with you and Christian about the Men Behind the Sun, about some of the ridiculous things that people say that, oh, it could have been that, but
I hear all sorts of stuff, good and bad. What always pisses me off is when I got filmmakers lying to me. Yeah. And I had one company in Italy. I was trying to buy one of their films. I could say it. It was Necrostorm, right? And I was going to buy Tater City. And they're like, oh, well, we have sold 30,000 units at full retail price. I'm like, no, you have not. That. Don't lie to me. Why would you lie to me about that? And I get tons of people lying to me and stuff. And
yeah,
it's just like, dude, what? You're not helping your case here, man.
You're gonna find out eventually. It's like not that hard. The internet's around, so.
Oh yeah, I already know. It's like I had one guy put out his movie, and I sold. It took me 7 years to sell 300 copies, and the guy is like, "Oh, I hear you're ripping me off." I'm like, "No, dude. Look, here's screenshots of the distributor. Here you go. Look, this is what I've sold. I've sold 10,000 units." I'm like, "No, you did not."
I don't. Yeah.
If you sold 10,000 units, 10,000 units at $30 each, that's $300,000.
Have you ever sold 10,000 units of anything?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, it was easier. Like Aftermath was 20,000, Rock and Roll was 70,000.
Yeah, before the digital aspect.
Yeah, well, before the retailers closed, because that's the thing. When you had retailers, people would buy stuff because it's there,
Mm-hmm.
But with all the retailers going out of business, then it's not there, And like you said, you got my stuff at Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
Best Buy was awesome. They'd buy so much and people would go there, and Best Buy purposely carried all the crazy cult movies on purpose to close down all the mom and pop video stores.
Oh.
And they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I kind of do remember how massive that was in comparison.
It was right around the same time. It's true.
Yeah. And that was their point. And then Best Buy, I think they did some kind of weird deal with Warner Brothers or something to where if they bought, X amount of movies, they'd get an extra 10% off or something stupid like that.
Mm.
So instead, they started slowly getting rid of all the indie stuff. Because when you went to the horror section, what was it? It was Us, Media Blasters, Anchor Bay, Troma, Cine. It was everybody.
Arts Magic.
Yeah. And they were just like, well, we can sell 20 copies of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Matrix, but we sell 1 or 2 of these. So let's get The Matrix and blah, blah, blah. So then they started, getting rid of all the cool stuff. And that's when they went to hell. Because now who the hell goes to Best Buy?
Yeah.
Didn't you used to own a video store? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Didn't you used to own a video store?
Yeah, I opened up. I used to be a bootlegger back in the day. I was one of those naughty bastards, right? But this was back when the VHS days, And suddenly I started seeing movies like Necromantic coming up on DVD and Cannibal Holocaust and everything. So I'm like, fuck. So I would delete all the titles that were coming out. And I was like, well, shit, I need to get legitimate. Let me open up a video store. And I opened up the video store. And it was terrible.
What was the name of the store?
It was called Video Mayhem.
Cool.
And it had a big rated R on the front door. Because I had all sorts of crazy bootlegs and Chinese imports and Japanese imports and all sorts of cool stuff. But it was before, because like Grindhouse Video in Tampa. They started, you know, like years ago, but like mine was open in 2000. And yeah, I was lucky to keep the lights on, but it was before its time, I think, because Mike Sandlin tells me at Grindhouse Video, he tells me his daily sales, and I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, fuck you. Because he does in a day what it took me a whole month to do.
Yeah, he's doing it online, or is he doing it in person?
In person and online.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he was doing there are days he'd do $3,000.
Wow.
I'm like, what the hell? What the hell, Tampa? You know.
Yep.
You know, it's just, it was, you know, and I was doing plenty of advertising and stuff. It's just, you know, yeah. So Mike tells me I opened it before my time too, because, you know, a cult video store back then was a rarity. You know, I think you had Scarecrow Video in Seattle.
Yeah.
I go there a couple times right here and there.
We live an hour from there, so that's kind of our stomping ground. Scarecrow.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, they got some good stuff too.
Yeah, they really do. I'm impressed every time I go through. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
I actually drove up there and rented certain things from Unearthed, but just stuff that I couldn't rent from Netflix or from my video stores. Because I did also get your movies from Netflix rentals.
Yeah, they used to carry up most of our stuff too, you know, but then they stopped caring about their mail stuff. They still do it. You can still mail order from them.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I don't know.
You can rent with Scarecrow, actually, apparently not even through Seattle. So if you're in another state, you can rent from Scarecrow Video, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I had a friend, he owned a place called Anime Network, and they started getting into releasing anime titles. So I sold them a bunch. And, you know, actually I sold them enough anime titles for them to release that I bought a house.
Wow.
Anime sells. It's like next to porn, anime is like
yeah.
Well,
anime porn.
Oh, I'm trying to get it. It's really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, La Blue Girl. I could see you put out La Blue Girl or something like that. Or
yeah. I'm trying to put the live action.
Yeah,
live action La Blue Girl. A little hokey, but
I can totally see that.
Totally.
Or
weird.
Angel of Darkness. That'd be cool.
Yeah, there's I think there's another one. Is it Angel of Darkness?
Angel of Darkness is the tentacle, yeah.
Oh, is that and there was 5 of them?
Yeah.
Oh, you are my favorite friend. Just because I forgot what the fucking title was. And I've been trying to find it, and I can't find it anywhere online.
Yeah, I have them if you want to, if you need them visually.
You got Scarecrow Video in your background, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to bootleg those back in the day.
Yeah, I basically have bootlegs of them. That's basically what I have. I don't have those physically, but in any way, but they're bootlegs.
The Angel of Darkness series is more tentacly than the La Blue Girl series.
Yeah, it really is, and I actually like them. I like them better, at least when it comes. And there's more of them when it comes to live action ones. There's a lot of the anime for the La Blue Girl, but
yeah. It's teenager years. Damn, I'm old.
Have you ever thought about putting out like Saudi Screams or
which one?
The Saudi Scream.
Oh, the amount of money they want, it's not worth it.
Oh, is that what it is? I wasn't sure because I was like, I wasn't sure if Zeus is just, you know, owned by the Yakuza and won't let it go or something.
Oh no, yeah, there's that too. That's a big problem because the Yakuza, they are legitimate in Japan, but you don't want to get in bed with them. Yeah, and our reps in Japan refuse. They're like, oh no, that's owned by the Yakuza. I am not getting into bed with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they jack up the interest until they have your life in their hands, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they own, you know, banks. They own like stockbroker firms, and they own like a little bit of everything normal, as well as all the fucked up stuff. And that's part of the problems why you see there's a bunch of Japanese horror films that can't be released because it's Yakuza. or one of the companies went bankrupt, because it's usually 3 or 4 different companies go in and make a movie together. And if one of the group companies is Yakuza based, or if that one of the companies goes bankrupt, then that movie is held up in legal bullshit. So they can't get put out.
That's frustrating because there's so much good stuff that hasn't even been subtitled yet.
Yeah. Is All Night Long in that category, or?
I don't know. I mean, I was just going to ask. The thing is, they got like 5 or 6 of them.
There's 6, yeah.
And, and I know Media Blasters put out 3 of them.
Well, the other 3 are, because they don't have subtitles for the other 3, so it'd be nice to get a release to actually have subtitles for those.
Right. See, but the question would be, would they be able to sell enough to put out all 6?
I think so. The All Night Longs are really popular.
I think like if they were packaged like those 3 that nobody has yet, except for on bootlegs, you could probably sell about 200 at least.
I have all the All Night Long VHS originals. Like, I love that set, and like it took me like, that's a heavy collector seeked item, so I know it's popular.
But Steven, that probably happens where like you have people saying like, oh yeah, you'll probably sell at least this much, and then and
then never does.
It doesn't.
And then wah. yeah, that happens. We're being a little bit more careful now.
Yeah.
Just because the sales are lower. Ever since the internet got fast enough to where the torrents can be downloaded in 15 minutes, that's when the industry started tanking.
Yeah,
just downloading all the shit,
Yeah, it takes one guy to buy the first copy and then just rips it, and then there you go.
Well, one thing your audience has been like really talking about for the last year, at least couple of years, is the Daisuke Yamanuchi box set. Is that something that is just like rumors of, or is that something that you've actually been thinking about releasing a series of?
I thought about it. I mean, Red Room 1 and 2 didn't do too well.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, but we're talking like, 1,500 units, but over 7 years, So it's not like it, lit the sky on fire or anything like that, because you got to pay for the rights. And then the authoring and the manufacturing and blah, 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 right?
Yep.
Yeah. You thought about re-putting out Red Room, though, right? Or putting it back in stock?
Maybe. The thing is, it's standard definition. It was shot on video back in the day, so there's no like 1080 master or anything like that. So it'd have to be up converted, and nobody wants that. I mean, other companies are doing it, and some can look good. Like we had to up convert a couple of Nicholson's movies because he lost all the masters. Yeah, and even his editors, he gave them all the high def footage that he shot, and they kicked out stuff to him at 480 for DVD, but they never gave him the fucking high def version. And I'm like, dude, where's the high def? I know you shot it in high def, and he's like, well, no, they never gave it to me. I'm like, dude, who the hell are you working with? So there's a problem. I mean, like animation, tons of it is, it's all 480 because that's what it was made for. So, but up converting anime looks a hell of a lot better than film,
Yeah.
So
or video.
So video,
Yeah, especially with digital.
Yeah, so it's sort of rough. I mean, we almost had the Year at Sacadoji series, but the terrible thing was they have a new 4K master of the first film, but it's only 87 minutes long.
What series is that?
What the hell? Huh?
What series is that?
Year at Sacadoji? I
don't know. Oh yeah, Overfiend. Yeah.
Overfiend. Legend of the Overfiend.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And because they had the version in 4K, but it's severely cut. I mean, damn movie's like close to 2 hours. It's like 87 minutes, and it's like, wait a minute, and then we were trying to get the master materials, and they don't have any, and so we ended up passing on it. And then, the up conversion software is better now, and we hit them back up, but somebody picked it up. So it's just like, because the thing is they have the TV show, then the edited TV show into movies, and then the edited movies, and all they have is the edited version. So it's like we would have had to get the perfect collection from France. I guess the box sets go for $500 now or something stupid.
Dang.
And then we just have to rip it and up convert it from those masters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So I hear that you have the rights to Muzani, or might have the rights to Muzani. Is that true? And have you thought about putting that out?
Yeah. We've just been waiting on the damn materials from the company.
Oh, okay. Because that's exciting. I'm really excited for that if that does get a release.
Yeah. I mean, I know some asshole made subtitles for it and put them online and shit. And the guy was my friend. And I'm like, hey, stop that.
Right. Yeah, I know that some of that's crazy because I thought about getting into that business, to be honest, like getting making subtitles for like Saudi screams and movies that don't have it, and just trying to get into that because it just seems like there's not a lot of that, you know, especially for films that just no one spent the time to do it, and it's not the fact that it just doesn't exist, you know.
Well, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's partially why I never did it.
Yeah, I did the subtitles for Black Sun and Nanking Massacre myself. Took me 2 months.
Damn.
I bet.
And you know, because I mean, it's a dialogue heavy movie too. There was like 1,200 lines of dialogue because I can still remember that number.
Yeah.
And, you know, and yeah, having to write them all out and time it, and yeah, the timing is a bitch, you know, and yeah. So yeah,
I hear there's a way you can like upload it onto YouTube and then use their thing and then just delete it, kind of thing, and just use their subtitles.
I got kicked off of YouTube for doing something like that, to where I put something up there. It was like the new version of Slaughter of the Swine.
And it just got caught too quick because you have to basically do it before you get kicked off, essentially.
Oh no, they flag stuff before it's even uploaded now.
No,
they do like
really?
a quality check.
Yeah. I mean, it was up there. My friend watched it, and then I deleted it. And then next thing I know, I got a message from YouTube. Hey, we saw a nipple on one of your videos, and we deleted it. Don't worry, you don't have a strike. Nothing's wrong. You're good to go. And then
we have our eye on you.
And then I get another email from them. Hey, we found something on your YouTube channel. Blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, the next email is, we are horrified. We have deleted your channel forever, and you are now off of it forever.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, shit. So I'm guessing YouTube, it's probably Slaughter of the Swine is probably on one of their servers. And they looked at it, and then somebody else looked at it, and they're like, oh my God. Because the Slaughter of the Swine, oh, fuck. Man,
so that's one of the new guinea pigs, right?
Yeah. It's
and that's the first one to come out of the two new recent, right? And then Chumbucket is next.
Yeah. Slaughter the Swine. I mean, Eric Fox. He's like, dude, let's make a movie. I'll do all the effects. I'm like, okay, awesome. And yeah, he wanted to do this Illuminati satanic ritual. And oh man, so basically we recreated one of the Illuminati satanic sex torture rituals. And fuck me. Oof. It went against everything that I said that I was not going to do in the guinea pig series.
Yeah.
Because the guinea pig movies, even though they're extreme violent, there's no vagina, there's no dicks, there's no cum shots, there's no pee, there's no vomit, there's no poo, there's no this, there's no that, there's no genitalia mutilation, there's this, that. Yeah, it's basically all that in Slaughter. But it's all fake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's everything's fake, but you know, yeah, we push some fucking boundaries on it to where I'm like, oh man, because I had 7 rules, and it was like, no pee, no poo, no ejaculate, no vomit, no rape, no genitalia, and I'm like, okay, and there we go. That's how we do the guinea pigs. It's just for gorehounds. Let everybody else pee and poo for their movies.
Yeah, but I mean, you did do the too extreme for mainstream, which kind of had a bit of elements of that, and maybe that's kind of like why it's acceptable.
But he's
to have
just
a
talking
pass.
about the guinea pig.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, your image of sorts of, like, since you already repping that in your unearthed repertoire,
Oh yeah, no, I scare people.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. I meet other filmmakers and I hang out with a lot of elder filmmakers, and they know what I do, and they're like, fuck dude, yeah, I'm afraid to watch any of your movies you put out. And I'm like, no, there's plenty of good movies in there, man. No, dude, yeah, no.
There's really something for everybody though in the unearthed catalog. I feel like I could find something for everyone.
Oh yeah. I mean, we got that hilarious House of Freightenstein thing coming up.
I was wondering about that. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
It's a weird kid show that was made in 1971, and it was made at like a local news station, and they managed to get Vincent Price because he wanted to do something for the kids, and they hit him up at the right time. So Vincent Price gave him like a greatly reduced fee, right? And he actually, because there's 100 episodes of this thing, right? And he actually knocked out all 100 episodes within 3 to 4 days. And they would just hand him what he's supposed to say, acting, script. He'd read it and he'd put it down, and he would say everything he actually just read right then and there. So they shot 3 different scenes for every show with him. So it was like sort of, crazy that he knocked it out in 3 or 4 days.
Dang.
And since it's a kid show, it's one guy named Billy Van. He actually plays every character in the show. And it's funny. It's like a weird kid show, but it got really big late at night because I guess all the stoned hippies and shit would watch it because it was funny and psychedelic. And the crazy thing that's killing us right now is the damn music rights. Because since it was a local TV show, they were allowed to use any fucking music they wanted.
Oh, yeah.
And they have this bit in there where the Billy Van plays a werewolf disc jockey, the Wolfman. And he's like, yeah, and today, kids, we're going to be dancing to the Beatles, and
oh no, yeah.
Here's the Rolling Stones and shit. And I'm like, oh.
So now you had to, yeah, it ends up being really expensive if you try to get any of those rights. Yeah.
I mean, we've been trying to get the rights, and we cleared 12 songs so far. And I'm hoping we can clear another
30 to go.
Yeah. And then, we'll just have 30 episodes that'll be 100% clear.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to get like George Harrison, My Sweet Lord. It's
wow.
Yeah, we'll sell that to you, 20,000. And that's cheap. And it's like, how much of this can we sell? We know the fans want the original music. Cool, but for fuck's sakes.
Yeah. Well, it's hard when you reference it and you say something. If you could just go over and do the music again, that's different. But when you say now we have the Beatles playing, and they're like, you play something else, it's like
yeah, that's and even sound-alike songs.
Covers or something that just
Well, Steven, have you ever thought about reaching back into the Unearthed Records catalog, possibly some Bloodshot or something?
I've thought that's the thing. I didn't make those guys any fucking money.
Yeah, we're actually gonna have Bloodshot on the show. He's like our next guest. So,
he's a good guy. Yeah. And it didn't fly. I mean, they'd give us the CDs, we'd put them in the system, they'd get shipped around, And then by the time like they got back to MVD, fucking all the shipping to the different stores that would try and sell it and then come back and this and that. And nobody was buying CDs at the time either.
Yeah.
And there's this big resurgence of vinyl. And I was looking into doing the vinyl with one of Screamer Claus's albums. But holy moly, it's like, you know, it was like $5,000 to get 500 discs.
Yeah.
You know, 500 records to where we're like, and, you know, and I ask the filmmakers, you know, hey, if we do this, are you cool? Because we got to recoup this money. And if they say no, then we don't do it. So yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, and horrorcore rap, you know, I mean, it's its own distinct genre.
It sells to the fans. It's hard to just set it up at a record store and expect people to buy stuff about like murdering your girlfriend and shit. So
yeah, unless it's already at a horror movie type place and it's like fitting, you know.
Maybe.
But
yeah, and that's the thing. And the thing is, I forget the name of the company that was with Bloodshot and them, and they were all supposed to go out on tour, you know, to help support the CD releases and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But there was all sorts of weird infighting and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean they were with Serial Killing Records, and then they had their own like Horror Crunk Entertainment and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
well, that's too bad, but
cool.
it's cool that you tried it out.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm always trying something out. I mean, we're working on toys now, and I'm just looking at the new sculpt for Society. Because I'm working with Brian Usna right now.
Yeah, I love
Society, the movie, nice.
Yeah, I love Society.
Yeah, and the hard
like
part,
make a toy that's like a mesh of all the people together, maybe. Like you can.
It would be too big. We looked at it and tried to figure out, you know, how to do that.
Connect the pieces.
I'm like, okay, you know, I'm like, but what if, you know, we're doing it and it's not doing well to where we don't finish it, you know?
If you have a figurine of him as an asshole, it's like, I'm a butthead, I would fucking buy that. That's for sure.
Well, you see, now here's the thing, because we discussed this in detail, right? Because in the movie, the guy has a blanket put over his torso, right? So all you see is the back legs, right? So to make a toy, it would have to be a nude guy. He's going to be on all fours. And he's not going to have a head or neck, so it'll just be the shoulders, and then he'll have the butt head, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a naked guy on all fours with his mouth for his ass.
Nice.
I think it's going to sell. Especially if it's fuckable, then you're definitely going to sell.
No, I'm like, you know how many Barbies are going to be mouth fucking the guy from Society?
Is that going to be part of the Too Extreme for Mainstream then?
You know, but you know, because Yusna's like, oh yeah, you know, he's like, well, we got to do this and that, and I'm like, well, dude, if you actually watch the Society movie, there's really not many characters that we could turn into a toy that's cool. You know, that's the problem. And so we ended up doing the movie poster, where it's the blonde chick that's peeling her face off. She got a nice rack. We did that. And hopefully it'll fit in the box, and you'll get the little mini Society poster with it and shit, you know, and it looks amazing. It looks a hell of a lot better than the toys that we're selling now. Different sculptor.
Yeah,
you know.
I have the little Serbian film guy now. So
yeah, I mean that you see, that one's an oddity because really it's just a guy with a giant dick in his pants. Which it's funny and interesting. I actually got to send 2 copies to the director in Serbia because the actor found out we made a toy of him. And he's like, oh, I need me in toy.
By the way, who has the baby right now?
Me.
Okay. I know it was between like you and Marcus. I had it for a second.
Oh, well, Marcus was my roommate for a while.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Are you were living and also with Jeremy Cruz, right? Or were you living with him for a second?
Yeah. Jeremy was living here. He moved out in December.
Okay.
So I turned his room into an office.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm getting all professional and shit now.
That's cool. So you're
So,
living
yeah.
alone now?
Yeah.
Must be kind of
It's
nice.
weird. It's sort of nice, but then you end up doing wacky stuff because you're alone.
Sure.
Wacky.
Getting wacky too much.
Just a little wacky, you never know what you can do with 2 slices of cheese until you try.
Especially with all that tentacle porn laying around your house. I'm like,
Especially when you melt the cheese.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so and Jeremy moved. He moved to a studio apartment that's with his friend who does effects for like Grey's Anatomy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing some Grey's Anatomy work with the guy, and he's also working on Marvel suits and stuff for like Shazam and all that stuff.
nice.
So he's been kicking ass, and he's been doing the effects for the alien extermination experiment, which will be the 3rd guinea pig in the new barrel
Ooh.
bunch.
Yeah. So how many? So how far along are all the guinea pigs right now? When it comes to the first 2, like, are they all post and pretty much ready to go, or?
Slaughter of the Swine's in post. Needs to be edited. I mean, I had it edited by Lewis Justin at Massacre, but we needed some pickup shots and some close up of masks, and there was 2 gore scenes we fucking missed totally.
Like the shot didn't work out or something?
No, just totally missed it. We totally missed a dick flower getting carved off of a body.
That's important. Yeah.
Oh no, it isn't important. The dick flower is very important in the movie, and somehow we didn't fucking get it getting cut off the body, and we missed scooping out the brains too. And I'm like, hey, how the hell do we do that? But we shot Slaughter in 3 days, but we didn't get it done. So we shot it another 2 days, like a week later. And we had a really weird time schedule because somebody was supposed to come into the room that we were shooting in to hook it up for some kind of 3D printing or 3D experience or something. Luckily, they were behind. So we got to go back the next week and reshoot what we were missing, which was the big orgy scene. I directed my first orgy scene.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
How did that feel?
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird because everybody was naked, looking at me for direction. And and I wasn't supposed to direct it either. I was just supposed to be the producer money guy. And I showed up there and I saw how far behind on the FX they were. And I was like, Eric, there's too many effects. You got to do that. Just let me direct. And so, so I didn't know I was supposed to direct an orgy. I would think I would have been better prepared, had more lubricant available.
Or if you cleared your head a little bit more that morning.
Yeah.
How many guinea pigs are you going to make, do you think?
Well, the idea, I mean, I've said 8, right? And Jesse and Marcus are making that Chumbucket. They're working on the close-up effect shots now. And Slaughter's Eric's, but now it's like it's in my hands for the editing and the color correction and blah, blah, blah. Because it's supposed to be like a found tape or something. Because, it's supposed to be Illuminati ritual based out of the 80s, I think.
Oh, cool.
So... And that's what what Eric wanted to do, because I let people have a little freedom, but I try to write them all. And I mean, I did write the screenplay for Slaughter of the Swine. And then I like glossed over all the dicks and dick mutilation and all the shit, because I was thinking it was going to look Troma-esque, because Eric, a lot of trauma movies with Lloyd, and we're doing the things, and I'm like, oh fuck, that looks too real, man. That looks too real. That looks terrible. Oh fuck, when we got that on camera, fuck, this is gonna be in the movie, isn't it? I'm like, oh shit, okay, so This one's not going to be, because like with Bouquet of Guts and Gore, you'll notice you really don't find that on Vudu or Peacock or Netflix or anything like that. Mhm.
True.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not, so Slaughter of the Swine will be another one to where it's like nobody's gonna touch this motherfucker for VOD at all.
Not gonna be on Tubi or anything.
Not gonna be, no way. There's no way.
Well, that was one cool thing about the first one, though, is I was just like, I don't know, you kind of knew if you're gonna see it, you had to buy it. So I had to buy it to see it, And, I feel like that's a really good way to like splash back into the guinea pig series, is making that like necessity to have the physical version of it.
Yeah, because otherwise you ain't gonna get it until it gets on the torrent sites, though.
Yeah.
Actually, the guinea pigs for the longest time, they weren't on the torrent sites. I was happy for that, because I've had other friends, they make their movie, and the next day, after they send out copies, boom, it's on the torrent sites, and they're freaking out. And yeah, Bouquet did not show up on the torrent sites after the Indiegogo, and then after the release, didn't show up on the torrent sites after release either. So everybody was really fucking cool. My hat's off to all you friends out there that bought it and never torrented it, or put it up there. But, now with that damn stupid iceberg that's floating around, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And as soon as that started making the rounds, boop, they popped up in like the mainstream torrent sites to where Screamer Claus told me, he's like, hey, dude, you're actually up there with all the Warner Brothers movies and shit like that. And I'm like, okay, well, before they started it, so that's cool. So I'm okay with that.
Have you ever thought of getting into like a comical thing since you're doing like a tribute to the original guinea pig?
Yeah, that's the idea for the last one.
Oh, okay.
That's my idea, and the idea was it was going to be two competing mad scientists. They're neighbors across the street from each other, and they're both trying to outdo each other with their comical hijinks.
I fucking love that idea. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like fucked up Halloween decorations.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be like two mad scientist laboratories, and they're all trying to outdo each other. And think it'd be like the guy, the doctor from Frankenhooker.
Oh, okay.
But you got two of them, right?
Oh, okay.
And they're neighbors trying to outdo each other.
I like it.
So yeah. So that's my idea.
It reminds me of Spy versus Spy a little bit. That magazine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what it would be, So that's my idea on that. But then we're working on trying to get the remake rights to a couple of things right now, and 2LDK is one of them.
I was surprised when I saw that you got that, because I mean that was a big deal when it came out, and then it's just been I haven't heard anyone talk about that since I saw it when it came out. So,
yeah, well, that's because you got new fans.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm old. I'm 52, and I've been a horror fanatic since I was a kid. My mom, when the Tooth Fairy would come, the Tooth Fairy would leave me a rubber monster instead of a nickel or a quarter or whatever. So I was always into. Ooh, God bless me. I was always into horror and whatnot when I was a kid. So, but yeah, these days, I mean, when we put out the Untold Story, so many people are like, "What's that?" I'm like, "What? Fuck you." Because
three, maybe.
Back in the day, they would bring up Untold Story in the same breath with Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah,
and because it's an amazing film. And when we put it out, so many people are like, what is this category 3 thing you speak of? I'm like, what? And I'm like, what? So now, luckily we got Untold Story and Dr. Lamb and Calamity of Snakes before all the other DVD labels started scouring all the companies in China.
That's awesome.
And now the thing is, all the Chinese companies are all like, Oh yeah, no. It's, oh, you want that movie? Okay, $50,000.
Oh god.
Like, whoa! It's like, wait a minute. No, that's almost double the, close to triple the price of what I was paying.
Well, they know the worth then, I guess, that people are going to be seeking it out all of a sudden. Is there a reason why you went for those movies like at this period of time? Was there like a window for it or something?
Oh, it's because nobody touched them yet.
Okay.
Mm.
You know, and
How come you didn't go for them like 10 years ago or something?
Well, just because at the time we had a rocky position because when we came out strong, you know, Junk, Aftermath, the Guinea Pig box set, Rock and Roll, but we got ripped off hardcore. And yeah, and it took us a while to get back from that. And then we went with another distributor, and then we got ripped off again. Went with another one, got ripped off again. I mean, yeah, it's a dangerous, screwed up industry, and so many people get ripped off. It's just disgusting. And yeah. So it took a while for us to get back, you know, but now we're doing great. So it's like, okay, let's buy us some movies.
Mhm.
But you know, there's some companies like Arrow and Shout Factory and Scream Factory, they are spending too much for movies. I know what they're paying, and it's
Yeah, because you
ridiculous.
get offered some of it. Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, we handle like for international sales, we handle Reanimator, Beyond, you know, Reanimator, Bride of Reanimator Society. We handle Brain Damage. We handle Hills Have Eyes, and we all sold them to Arrow before, but we ain't selling that shit to them anymore. We're gonna be putting this stuff out in 4K ourselves.
mhm.
But you know, we know. I mean, Alligator. We were the ones who were handling that.
Mm.
We sold it to Shout. You know
Wow.
how much they paid for it? You'd be like, what?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was stupid money. Stupid
Yes.
money. Because I'm like, let's put out Alligator ourselves. And my business partner's like, well, Shout's willing to pay this. And I'm like, what? That's what? Okay.
Well, let them.
Now let them do
Yeah.
all the dirty work.
Yeah. We still got our agent commission,
Yeah,
Mhm.
there you go.
you know, without having to pay that kind of. Yeah. And some of the companies have more money to throw around too.
Mhm.
So we're choosy, but we're getting bigger and bigger titles. And yeah, because like I know I brought up the Guyver on the last podcast.
I was gonna bring that up too, but yeah.
Yeah,
And,
interesting.
and then I guess they figured out they had like a hot potato in their hands, and then they started telling everybody on Twitter, and then suddenly, boom! Everybody knew we had the Guyver, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
So you know, so that's cool. I mean, cool thing is we got the R-rated cut, which nobody's ever put out on DVD before. So that's cool. I like that. But we got another big one we haven't announced yet called No Escape. Stars Ray Liotta, Lance Henriksen, Ernie Hudson, and it's actually awesome. It was right after Goodfellas, and Ray Liotta was offered a sci-fi, apocalyptic, future action adventure-y type of Mad Maxy type of thing, and it's awesome. And yeah, we picked that up. We haven't announced it yet because I'm working on extras now.
Mhm.
Because you know everybody wants extras and all that crap, you know.
Yeah,
You know, so but that one should do well, and that'll be all over VOD and everywhere else and shit, you know. So
sweet.
that's a little bit more mainstreamy.
That's cool. I've never even heard of that one. What's that one called again? The title?
No Escape.
No Escape.
Mhm.
Oh, it sounds familiar. It's like ringing a bell. But I'm sure if I saw that cover, there's like a few of those movies that came out in the 90s that have like, you know, 3 or 4 really popular actors. Like, why haven't I ever heard of this? Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it was out on DVD when DVD was like first DVD. It was like I think 97, 98.
Mm.
You know, but it hasn't been released since then. And you know, we got a beautiful 1080 version of it. You know, and you know this and that. But yeah, I remember renting it back in the day.
Hmm.
And yeah, and we found, And the funny thing is that we're talking to this company in France, and we said, hey, give us your list. And they gave us their list, and No Escape was not on there. But that was what we were buying from them. And I'm like, why isn't this on the list? What else are you missing? What else are you missing? I need to know. I'm wanting to buy more. You give me more now.
So how does bidding work exactly when you're bidding for the rights?
Well, that's when you got like more than one company wanting it. So it's like when we were handling Coffin Joe's Embodiment of Evil.
Love Coffin Joe.
Sold it. Yeah, we sold it to Anchor Bay for $40,000 just for the UK. They didn't want it for the US, which was surprising. And then nobody wanted it. And then I'm finally like, okay, screw it. I'm like, let's put out Coffin Joe. I love a Coffin Joe movie, but this one's a little hokey because he's walking around in his top hat and his cape in daylight, you know, walking down the sidewalk. That looks a little suspicious, you know. But it's a cool movie, so I was like, okay, let's say 10 grand, let's buy it for 10 grand. And since we were handling it, we're like, hey, 10 grand, you know. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they're like, oh, well, Synapse wants it. They're offering 15 grand. They're like, ooh, is it worth 15 grand? And I was like, I don't know. And this was like back in the days when sales were good too. Not as low as they are now, but and we ended up, and then they said that, oh, that Synapse offered 20,000. We're like, okay, they can have it for 20. Come to find out from Jerry that they actually paid 15, but they said that sales for it were terrible. I don't know. Yeah. So I dodged a bullet, but usually what happens is we'll put in a bid. Somebody else will say, oh, okay, they offered this, I'll offer that. And then they come back to us to see if we'll match it or if we'll go over the top. Sometimes companies lie about it. You know, sometimes they lie and say, oh, we have somebody else interested. They're willing to pay this. Can you match that? You know, so it's like, it's
that's
tricky.
shady.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like playing poker in a way. You know,
like they're bluffing. Yeah. Like, I don't think they have a bidder, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, now it's like, I was told that the company we bought Dr. Lamb and Untold Story off of, you know, got them, for me, great price, right? Great price. And then I had one of my friends that owns another company. He's like, hey, man, I got a quick question. I know you just bought, you know, Untold Story from this company. And I asked them for like an action adventure thing, and they're telling me 50 grand per movie. And I'm like, oh, dude, fuck. I'm like, okay, well, that's because, you know, I know Arrow just hit them up and Vinegarson, you know, everybody's hitting them up. So, yeah, they're raising their prices drastically, and don't buy it for 50 because you're going to lose your ass.
Have you ever bought in? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, have you ever bought into something and then ended up not wanting to put it out and just sat on it?
Oh, no. I would never pay money and have something sit.
No, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I will always, you know, if I buy it, I'm putting it out.
Or selling to somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, we did that with a movie called Electric Dragon 80,000 Volts.
Oh, I love that fucking movie.
Yeah. And we were going to buy it, and we did the contract, and it was $28,000, which is like high, right?
Yeah, especially for a film like that. Yeah.
And I'm like, and I decided against it. And so we ended up selling it to Discotech for the same exact price. And I'm pretty sure they lost their ass on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because 28, I mean, we bought Frankenhooker for 20,000, if that tells you anything.
Wow. Yeah.
I was wondering about that. So Trauma, did they originally distribute that? And then like what happened? How did you guys get that? Because it has a Trauma logo at the beginning, like when I've watched it.
I don't remember Trauma having it.
A Frankenhooker? Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, I've never seen Frankenhooker as Trauma.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
I
not.
know. Yeah. Because it was somebody, whoever had the VHS. It could have been Vestron. I forget who, but you pushed a button on it and it said "want a date." And,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it was just sitting at a film library. Company's name was Amcel, actually, and I know Synapse did a deal with them to do scanning for their movies, so they ended up with Frankenhooker after us, which sort of sucks, you know. But what are you gonna do, right? I mean, I've gotten into bidding wars with other companies, and you know, I usually let them win because I'm like, oh, you just went beyond where we can make profit. Bye. you can have it in your library.
Oh, it was when I watched it on Shudder recently. Is when it had the Trauma logo at the beginning, I think.
Oh, weird.
So I don't know. I could.
Yeah, that's
I could still be wrong. So.
Yeah, I think you have to be wrong.
Yeah,
because it's at Synapse. Because Synapse has it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually if you do a scan, it's from the film negative or something. And there might be the companies who produced it at the beginning, but Trauma was never a part of it.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah, that has always confused me, but
Yeah.
or since I watched it the last time, it's confused me. But okay, cool.
There's an interview, and I was curious on this, that you were talking about there being Easter eggs that people would sneak into your DVDs. What are they? Like, what Easter eggs are there in your DVDs?
From what Screamer Claus has told me, it's his music videos. Sometimes it's a short movie of his. I know the Flower, Flesh, and Blood has a bunch of Easter eggs on that. No. Yeah, Flower, Flesh, and Blood. That's got like a hidden trailer for Muzani in there. I think Girl School Hell 1999. And alternate cut of Flower, Flesh, and Blood, which I edited myself to take out all the hokey moments, where it's just pure snuff film.
Interesting.
Cool.
So that's on the and with Jimmy, I don't know. He just told me that he puts Easter eggs on a bunch of our movies.
That's funny.
And I have no clue what they are, no clue what movies they're on.
No one's made a list or done anything to.
Nope. Either Jimmy really hid them well, or he's bullshitting me.
Yeah, just making you think that they're there.
I don't think that he's bullshitting me because he was laughing too hard when he told me.
Right.
You know, so yeah, so there's.
It's like the Doom game of finding the head, you know, behind the boss type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Jimmy today because we're just finalizing the Old Man movie dubbing that we did. Good, and that'll be an awesome release. Damn thing, it's so friggin' funny, man.
Have you ever thought about releasing anything else from Jimmy Screamer Claus?
Yeah. I mean, we're in talks. I mean, we just started the Unearthed Animation label. So we're in talks. I mean, you know, he works with us all the time. It's just that when we released Where the Dead Go to Die, at the time, Blu-ray authoring was massively expensive, like $4,000 plus, just to author the disc. And the costs were so high that I didn't make them barely much at all. We actually lost our ass on the Blu-rays back in the day because nobody was really doing Blu-rays. Nobody was buying any. So all the Blu-rays we put out, the first batch of Blu-rays, we lost our asses on.
Which is funny because now they're crazy expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, and so yeah, but now Blu-ray DVD's dying. It's like sales are like tiny compared to Blu-ray now. So now, you know, I mean, I'm seeing other companies do both Blu-ray and DVD, or they're just getting rid of the DVD and they're just doing Blu-rays. But, you know, we know a lot of people still collect DVDs and, you know.
Yeah, well, it's completionist, to be honest. Like, I thought about it because of, like, if I was trying to get all of it, well, obviously I might just stick with DVD because that's the only way I can get all of your releases, technically. Because not all of them been Blu-rayed.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, because people keep asking me for Bouquet of Guts and Gore Blu-ray. And I'm like, dude, guys, it's $480. There'd be no difference. You know, and they can't convert that. Wouldn't want to.
Some people don't understand that, I think.
Yeah, they don't understand it at all. But, and I'm like, no, there's no reason for it to be, but it'll look better with the, you know, next to each other. And I'm like, I know that aspect, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just put it on, just put it on without up conversion or anything and just have it 480 just for completionists. But, it costs money.
Maybe do a Blu-ray box set.
Well, that's the plan. The plan is when it's finally done to do a nice box set. And because we shot Bouquet on Super 8 and VHS, but the Super 8 millimeter film is in 1080. So my editor, who edited Solomon for me, and he's finishing up the Profane exhibit, he wants to re-edit the Super 8 millimeter footage and make it different, with a snuff cut, like what I did for Flower, Flesh, and Blood. That's hidden on the disc. He wants to do that with the Super 8 millimeter footage for Bouquet. And if we do that, it'll take us some time and shit, but it would be a new cut and it'd be on the box set. And it's like, we got like a Bloodshot. I got a colorized version of that.
I want to see that.
It was shot in full color. And then while Marcus was editing it, he came up with the idea of like making it black and white to where the ending, like, will make it pop. And I was like, dude, but the gore and the color and but then I watched it and I was like, okay, this works. It's
I feel like you can actually probably get away with more with special effects when it's black and white, because you can just kind of go with like the colors, not necessarily as like, if with the blood and stuff like that.
Right. Oh no, well, that's the thing. It was shot in color, so all the gore is just fucking really in your face now. Yeah, true that. So I'll probably throw that on the. God bless you. So I'll probably throw that on the box set as well. I'll make it to where if anybody does buy it, it'll be worth it. Nice. Because I know Jeremy and Marcus, the vomit scene in Solomon, they both say that they would have edited that totally different. And I love the way it is now, because I sat there with the editor and we edited the vomit scene. And yeah, that was all my choices. So maybe I'll have an alternate version of Solomon with a different edit on the vomit scene. Maybe I won't. We'll see. I think we got through everything at it. There was some bad acting here or there that I've seen people complain, oh, the guy who plays the psychologist is a terrible actor. And I'm like, oh yeah, you should see what's left on the cutting room floor. Because there's supposed to be a lot more story to it, but it's just like, dude could not remember his lines for the life of him. And it's so funny. And it's so funny because we show up first day of shooting, and I was like, hey Josh, you ready for your big fucking big fucking scene today? He's like, oh yeah dude, I got it, it's only like four sentences. I'm like, dude, this is your whole backstory, it's 6 paragraphs. Wow. I threw him the screenplay and said start memorizing, and yeah, he couldn't memorize shit. Oh no. So it's just like okay, well, we don't need it. So
how did he get the role? Did he kind of dupe you in the audition or something, or?
A little bit. Hello?
Hi.
Oh, okay. Sorry, something came up on my screen.
Oh, that's all good.
Nah, I mean, he makes short films and stuff, and I knew the guy forever and stuff, and and he looks haggard, and I wanted a haggard-looking guy, and and I thought he could act, but I was wrong. So yeah, and his acting brought down Maureen, who's the Jessica's mother in the movie, and he was so bad that he brought her down because she was the one that was acting with him. And yeah. So it's like, I've seen that happen before, not on one of my sets, but one bad actor can throw off all the other actors.
Toxic acting.
Yeah.
Something I never even thought about, but one bad actor can ruin a whole bunch.
Yeah. Just because if they're off rhythm, how in the hell can anybody else be on rhythm? You know.
Yeah.
You
Unless
acted
they're
in a couple
professional.
roles, right? Like
Huh?
Green. You acted in a couple roles, right? Gator Green and Brain
Oh.
Jacked.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm in Solomon too,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and that was the thing. It's I couldn't find somebody to play that part,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, fuck. Okay, well, I can do this, and so I did it, and it was freaking everybody out that was in that house that we were in, because I was just doing the lines like over and over and over again, and everybody was sitting in the living room going, holy shit, that's Biro. Sounds like he's really having a mental fucking breakdown. This is freaking me out. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it's fun. I've had friends tell me that I was the best actor in the movie.
Yeah, you were.
And I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. I'm like, you know, Jessica was amazing. And Jim and Gabby were good. Gene was good. The guy at the end, he's good.
I thought all the priests were pretty good, including you. I mean, there were a few rough spots here and there, but definitely you. I think you nailed it, especially with like when you were using the language and stuff. So,
Well, you know,
the religious language, you can tell you have some like background in.
Yeah, I do. Christian and a theologian.
Yeah.
And yeah, it helps, and that's why, you know, my stuff's fucked up.
Exactly.
You know, that's the whole point. And you know, and the cool thing is, it's like with independent films, it takes a while before they get out there. You know, and Solomon's got a nice life to it, because more and more people are just seeing it because it's on Tubi, and you know, it's here and there and wherever. So more and more people are seeing it, and they're going, oh shit, what the fuck is this? I was expecting an exorcism film, not this.
Yeah, right.
So it's good. So, you know, more people are seeing it every day. So it takes a while for an indie film to get out there enough to where enough people see it to where they're like, dude, you need to see this. You know, It takes a while. And I always tell filmmakers that. I'm like, you know, because it's so hard these days, because you got all the new movies, all the new music, all the damn YouTube videos, all this, that, the other thing, everything's vying for your attention. So it's hard with the independent films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are there any other box sets you're planning on putting out?
Well, I picked up the rights to Death Escort Service 1 through 3.
Oh, cool.
So
I've never got to see those yet.
Oh no, they're fucked up. They're fucked up. They're sleazy, very sleazy slasher. You know, they're fun. And it's the guys from Tampa, Gator Blade Films, and the fuck is I forget what Chris Wood's other company is.
Sleazebox.
Yeah, Sleazebox. Yeah. I don't see how the hell I forgot that.
Yeah, we're doing a Sleaze episode soon, so we have to watch a bunch of their movies. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll watch those.
I just picked up like 9 or 10 movies from Sleazebox.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, they got that Florida charm to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of weird because Tampa is a bit of a hub for weird independent horror stuff. And yeah, I wonder if something was just in the water.
Well, it definitely is. There's like flesh-eating diseases in Florida water.
Yeah. You know,
maybe we should do a movie on that. That's a great idea. Like a flesh-eating zombie disease, like when you go in the water and all these like people start turning into zombies that go into the Florida water.
Has that not been made?
I don't know. It should.
Yeah, it's I'll pass on that one. I am in negotiations for the remake rights to a zombie movie. I cannot tell you.
Okay, yeah.
But we've been fucking around with this for 2 years now. But man,
is it an underground or a more mainstream?
No. This is like, okay. Let's just say it's it's big enough to where we finalize this shit and we make the announcement, people are going to be up in arms.
Right.
People are going to be up in motherfucking arms. Because when I announced that we were doing the guinea pig films, everybody was pissed. They're like, oh, Americans can't remake Japanese movies. What the hell, you know, and blah, blah, blah. But then when people saw who was attached, then they were like, it calmed down a little bit. People were like, okay, well, it's Biro, Van Beber, Marcus. Okay, so maybe it's not going to be too bad.
It made sense to me, so.
Yeah.
I don't see why people are getting mad about it.
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
Yeah,
but this one, oh man, it's like I'm going to take a very cherished movie, really cherished, and I'm gonna put my spin on it.
Yeah, it almost makes you want to like play the guessing game. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, me too.
We'll do it after the show.
Yeah, I mean, I will give one hint. It was made in Italy.
Ooh.
Well, that's
okay.
That puts up a lot.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't want to say anything.
I can't wait to see Nightmare City from Steve Biro, but
yeah, or Cemetery Man.
All right, so
go ahead.
Oh no, you have a little more.
Oh, well, I was gonna say
The Beyond.
That, I was gonna say that like Yuzna and Peter Locke, who produced Hills Have Eyes, those guys are excited as all hell.
Cool.
Well, I'm excited. Let's go.
They're like, oh yeah, now we're talking, Steve. All right, let's do this, and we got the yeah, and that's all I can say.
I think,
but yeah, it would be a hell yeah, and I'm hoping that people will know that I'll have a bigger budget. That's the thing. Like Solomon was only $50,000, but all 50,000 is on screen. And if I did it like you normally shoot a movie, that would have cost me about $150,000 to do.
Yeah.
But I know how to, squeeze a turnip and make turnip juice. I know that didn't come out right, but I'm saying. So it's if I actually have like a real budget, $500,000, million. Oh yeah, then I can actually write, a storyline. Character development.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent budget to work with for sure.
Yeah. Especially, and I already have, the whole crew. I'll use the same DP that I used for Solomon, Chris Saliki. I'll probably use all my effects guys because I'm going to need a fuck ton of effects.
Yeah.
A fuck ton.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. So.
That's the thing about zombie movies is they have to be like with movies like Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead and stuff. There just has to be so many graphic kills to balance out the fact that there's not like a murderous psycho on the screen. Like since you're taking away that sadism and that like dark side, like zombie movies are pretty light. So you kind of got to make them dark by making those kills just super graphic.
Or make them crazy, like Zombie with the freaking shark zombie scene.
Zombie,
that's just,
bone sickness, anything Fulci is just like a good example of like extreme horror. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, Zombie, right? Yeah, that one I'd be afraid to try a remake to, right? But what we're looking at, I have no problem, and I already know where to up the kills because I've already written it out. And yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I've written because I used to write screenplays, and they'd get optioned, but the companies would go bankrupt, and nothing would get made. And I wrote the sequel to Society, and Richard Stanley was going to direct it. Everybody was involved.
Oh, wow. That would have been cool.
Effects. Oh yeah, because it was called Society 2 Body Modification.
Huh.
And it was about a different layer in their society.
Like plastic surgery type thing, and
like body modification, like the fucking tongue splitters and fucking.
Okay.
But that's where the society actually initially came from, and I gave it the whole fucking
like urban society.
So not quite, but but like fucked up,
Yeah.
and I wrote it, and fucking Yuzna and Stanley loved it because he was going to direct it, and fucking and it just didn't fucking happen. And I think I also had a screenplay called Drunken Master Vampire Priest.
Ooh.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that was to outdo Brain Dead and Evil Dead, to totally outgo where they went, right? And it would have been outrageous gore comedy, and I had Can-B ready for it. Actually, Kurtzman was supposed to direct it.
Would that have had the hopping vampires like from the Hong Kong movies?
There's no hopping vampires in it, but in it there's a priest who's raised by a sect of drunken kung fu monks, and so he learns drunken kung fu, and his parents were missionaries who got murdered, and that's why he's an orphan with the monks. And then he goes back to England to start a church, and then he ends up getting bit by a vampire, and then you got the drunken master vampire priest.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's fucking hilarious. And Kurtzman, he read the screenplay, and he's like, okay, dude, the screenplay is 98 pages, and you have over 150 FX shots in it. Yes, I know. He's like, oof. And I'm like, well, here's how we're gonna do it. And I'm like, look, the werewolf, the zompires, because I got a mix of zombies and vampires called zompires.
That's cool.
The zompires all look like tarmen because they're twice damned. Okay. The werewolf, you have that werewolf outfit right there. Let's use that because it's a badass werewolf costume they never used. And I'm like, now some of the effects we want on the money, but some we want it cheesy and look bad tasty.
Right.
I'm like, so some will be goofy, but some will be on point. And I'm like, werewolf's got to be on point and this and that. Because I threw in Haitian voodoo zombie priests in there. I mean, I threw everything in the kitchen sink at it. But everybody loved the fucking screenplay. And fucking, got optioned. Company went bankrupt. Got optioned again. They were going to make it. Then they went bankrupt. And then I said, fuck it. That's when I started writing books.
And then you saw Danny Trejo as that character at the Walmart. And that's fucking.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like somebody would have stolen that idea from you, like once you gave up on it.
Oh, well, yeah, but luckily, everybody was professional, and only professionals got the script.
True.
To where they weren't thieving bastards.
That's the way you gotta
and
do
it is copyrighted and all that shit too. So
Yeah.
And having a drunken master vampire priest, yeah, that's and it's funny because I was sitting there with another writer at a bar, and we're just bullshitting, talking about kung fu flicks and gore flicks. And he brings up Drunken Master Vampire Priest. And I'm like, oh man, you could do a lot with that. I'm like, you mind if I take that? He's like, no, go ahead. And I'm like, boom, yank, mine. And yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, I've been close to making bigger movies, but shit always falls through. So that's why I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to do it myself. So that's what I've done. But now we'll see what happens because, it seems like the money people do not want to make, they don't want to invest in something new. If it's a remake, they will invest. They will make it happen. They'll make it happen. And that's why, that's one of the perverted
reasons why the only reason why we see remakes.
Yep. And it's because the thing is, making money is, making a movie is expensive. When you're looking at $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $5, $10.
Yeah. Ooh. And you're spending it, you're not making anything back, then it's just.
Yeah, it's a hole. Now that's the thing. There's people out there who have too much money. And if you can find them, I call them unicorns. Because they need to take off money for their taxes. Because they make sense. And if you find one of these beautiful people and convince them to make some movies, and be honest and be like, look, we're probably not going to make any money, but you'll be able to take it off on your taxes. And they're like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I have a couple of friends that have those people.
Yeah.
And I'm so jealous.
I mean, I've seen those like Indiegogos too, is just like pay for the whole project if you want to pay that $10,000 or $8,000, whatever, especially for smaller budgets.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, Bouquet, that was 15 grand for us to make that. But you know, I was living with my FX guy at the time,
Right?
So that helps, you know, and you know, I learned how to do a ton of effects on Bouquet, you know, and then Bloodshot was 16 grand, and that was nice because we did those Indiegogos, selling all the props and stuff. We made our money back plus some extra, you know, so it's nice, you know, and yeah. So that's what I've been doing, and I usually just take the money out of my own pocket and get the movies made. And yeah, when I'm seeing people like making them for 5 or 6, it's like, ooh, I'm like, fuck.
I mean, it can be done. I mean, it's hard to do it well, but you can do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason why I moved out here to LA from Florida. Better actors.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
You know, and
a lot of them too.
And they're kind of desperate for work, and you know, yeah, a lot sometimes.
Here, you know, but like for Solomon, I had a hard time finding actors for that, just because, you know, it's like, okay, well, you're going to be covered in gore, you're going to be sticky, and you're going to be miserable. So it was hard finding actors for that. And yeah. So, you know, because all of our stuff is usually outrageous, you know, but that's how, like, you know, you stay noticed in a way. It's like I did this Rue Morgue article, and somebody wrote the editor a letter saying, thanks for putting this in. I'll never watch any of the guinea pig movies.
Oh, I read that thing. It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't care. I mean, I've had reviews that just rip me apart. They're cute. I usually share them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the negative publicity. It's like any publicity is publicity, even bad publicity, especially when this comes to that stuff. It's like, you're helping me out. You know that, right?
Right. Oh yeah, that was like when I put out the Dead Baby joke book.
Yeah.
All of the Europe, all of UK, it was Great Britain, Ireland, and Scotland. They flipped the frig out. They like flipped out. I was on the Sun. The book was in the Sun, the Mirror, the BBC News, BBC radio station.
And sold out next week.
Oh yeah, the amount of sales I did to the UK was outrageous because it was plastered all over the place, and everybody was flipping out, and there were people out in the streets with petitions trying to get it taken off of Amazon, and you know, I was getting plenty of death threats too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and luckily for me, I didn't put my name on the book.
Oh, that's good. A good idea.
Yeah, well, that was my second ex-wife's idea.
All right.
She's like, because she's the one who got me to write the book. Basically, one night I was drunk and I came up with the dead baby joke, and I ran into the room and I told her. And then I left and I came up with another one, and I ran into the room, told her another one, and she's like, I bet you can't write a whole book about dead baby jokes. And I'm like, what? Well, what's the bet? She's like, 2-hour blowjob. Done. Done. There we go. Here you go. And she's like, okay, well, don't put your name on it. You might get death threats. I'm like, nah, come on. I want to put my name on it. And I didn't. But yeah, the amount of death threats are crazy. And
wow.
even the Irish Prime Minister chimed in.
Wow.
And sent out a press release saying that they're going to try to get it taken off of Amazon because it's hurting a lot of women over here in Ireland.
Oh, that's scary.
And it's just like, it's like fucking. Finally, somebody over there in their news channels figured out it was me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they hit me up with the interview, and they thought I did it with malice in my heart, and I'm like, no, it's a joke, and I would get a 2-hour blowjob from my wife.
You said that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, so she printed that, and it calmed down some people, but other people were just like, it's so terrible and it's atrocious. and the terrible thing is after that, I had a bunch of women friends that I knew that were trying to convince me to write the ultimate rape joke book.
Oh no.
And I'm like, look, I can't. That's a river too far.
I bet you a 3-hour.
Well, after that 2-hour
deal.
one, I'd probably go for the 3 too, right? And all the girls were like, no, we'll write all the jokes. And I'm like,
yeah, more threats, thanks. I'll have threats on both ends.
So I didn't do it. I didn't do it, but I quickly wrote the ultimate dead baby cookbook.
Yeah,
and then Europe figured out that I was using them for promotion and marketing, to where that when that came out, it crickets.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Crickets. They didn't. They were like, okay, wait, we've been promoting this. I don't think we realize that, but we've been promoting this book by saying how terrible a human person this is.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
So just like with the bum fights or whatever, where that guy went on Dr. Phil and just clowned on Dr. Phil and ended up selling out.
I'm sorry, I think that episode's fucking hilarious.
Well, that's a shame of it. It wasn't the full episode. It was just him going out there. And suddenly Dr. Phil was like,
nope.
Motherfucker.
Get out of here.
Get out.
Get off my show.
So I have to ask, and because we were trying to confirm this, and I read this randomly. So I know everyone knows like the whole Charlie Sheen story, but I hear that you sent a copy of American Guinea Pig to Charlie Sheen as like you thought that was bad. Well, you should check out the American version. Is that true?
No. What you see at the end of Bouquet, the editor is holding 2 packages, saying he's got to get them in the mail. And one is addressed to Hideshi Hino. He's the guy who made Flower, Flesh, and Blood. And he says at the beginning of Flower, Flesh, and Blood, it says that he got a package in the mail with an 8mm film and a letter and some pictures and stuff. And that's why he made Flower, Flesh, and Blood. And the other package was addressed to Charlie Sheen. And the address was to his agent's box or something like that. So maybe that's where that came from. Because in Bouquet, you can see the package and you can barely read it that it says Charlie Sheen on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to read. I should have used a bigger marker. Because that was the whole idea for Bouquet, was that it was the prequel to Flower.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing that. I was actually really impressed that there was like, it kind of adds lore to it, which is crazy because a lot of people think of it as a really simple film, but when you add that kind of story to it, it brings some depth to it. It's cool.
Oh yeah, and the funny thing is, most of the people don't even know that it's a whole family there. They didn't catch on the thing, because the guy who's holding the VHS camera is the first chick's husband, and he's being blackmailed into videotaping their deaths, otherwise they're going to kill their kids. And it says it a couple of times in the movie, but so many people, I guess because the effects are so outrageous, that the storyline just goes through in one ear and out the other. And and basically the mother, and it's their mother and the daughter. The daughter's married to the guy who's holding the VHS camcorder, and she's Christian, the grandmother's Christian, the mother's not, and that's why they pull off the thing to show that one's going to heaven, the other's going to hell. And it's there's a bunch of stuff that people didn't pick up on the movie. And when I tell it to people, and I'm like, no, the guy who's doing the VHS camcorder, that's her husband, and he's videotaping it so that the kids don't get killed, because they got them too. And that's why at the end, VHS is gone, and you see the kids marched out to the beds.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
And good thing it cut there. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, that was funny, and the cool thing is Marcus came up with that idea with the kids at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, and the thing is, my friend Betty, she's the one whose daughter that was, the little baby.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is she enjoyed her time on set, and I feel bad for the little girl when she's older, to where her mom finally tells her, "Yeah, hey, you're in a movie." What? I'm in a movie? Yeah, you were in a movie when you were a baby.
Yeah, just be ready. Probably don't want to see it.
Yeah. That'll be funny, but yeah, and she was pregnant, and she was supposed to give birth right at the beginning of us shooting Solomon. So we were going to have a real baby for that scene.
Wow.
And it would have been the same, same lineage from Bouquet. But,
interesting.
But of course, she didn't give birth in time.
All right.
I called her. I was like, "Hey, we're getting ready to shoot. I think we're going to be able to do the baby scene like on Thursday or something. You have the baby yet?" "No, I'm due any minute now." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let me know." And she's like, "Oh, I'll let you know." And nope, the baby didn't arrive in time.
Yep, we just had a baby and it was 2 weeks late, so I understand.
Yeah.
Can't plan it to the minute.
No.
Speaking of babies, are there any special releases you're going to do with Serbian film?
I'm thinking so, because I'm in the middle of suing this motherfucker in Germany right now over Serbian film and Solomon. And I think we're at like 62,000 with the lawyer bill right now.
Damn.
So because it's for both Solomon and Serbian film, and we got the extended cut, and the reason why the extended cut's not out yet is because I don't want this cocksucker in Germany to steal it from me. So we're suing him first. So I think we're gonna do like a special limited edition just to help out with lawyer fees, and call him something, and do something special with Solomon and Serbian film. Yeah. So I think we'll do something special like that. I mean, I was looking into having babies made, because the baby in Serbian film is quite ugly. And I have
it's
the
crusty
baby
looking now too.
Yeah, it's like falling apart, right? I'm sure.
Oh no, it's a solid piece of fucking silicone. Yeah, it's like solid. Like if I was holding it by its legs and I hit you in the head, you'd be on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah. One arm is off, and I know that the baby was in Serbia in like a little film studio. So whenever somebody went there, of course, what they do, they picked up the baby, and that's why it's missing an arm now.
Yeah, because it was an auction for a while, right? And like went up to like 3,000 or something. I think was the highest.
Oh no, it was 6,000.
Oh, it was 6,000. Oh shit.
And it was bid on the first day it went up, but eBay pulled it all down.
Oh yeah,
that fucked us up. That fucked me up really bad. And eBay's like, oh, they're like, this stuff is too nasty, and it's like, what are you talking about? These are costumes. There's not even blood on it. Oh, they got blood all over. It's like, there's blood all over on tons of stuff you guys are selling. What the hell? They just have a boner against Serbian film. So so they yanked everything, and that.
Well, and it's banned on eBay too, like anything Serbian film. It's funny when you see people sneak it in, but
yeah, you got to go to Homes and Gardens. it's in the tool set section.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like they get away with it though.
Yeah. You can't sell Aftermath on there either.
Yeah, Faces of Death is another one that you can't.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're really fucking anything.
Right.
It's just dry humping, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
And the baby, there's no baby fucking in the movie. The hell. So it's just people flipping out. And people make it work. You see the people who bitch about the most are the people who've never seen it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just hear about it and they just think the worst. You know.
Yeah. You know, it's like Gonzo porn with a rubber baby.
It's fine. Stuff's a lot scarier when you haven't seen it. You know, when you actually see something, it takes all the mystery. People are probably imagining the worst thing ever when they think of Serbian film, and when you actually watch it, it's fucked up, but it's not like knock your wig back fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe 10 years ago it was, but I mean nowadays.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean you got Marion Dore shitting on everything.
Yeah, so you only came out with Cannibal and you were like F that afterwards, or
oh well, I tried picking up that Melancholy of the Angel thing, but the guy killed a cat in it. And he was really proud of it because that was his selling point to us. Oh, and we really killed the cat for the movie. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck, you know? And the thing is, legally, it's actually illegal because there's fist fucking in it. And there's a bit of poo, I guess, on the fist when it goes in. That's totally illegal in so many states you cannot comprehend. So like if I looked at it and I'm like, dude, you killed a cat. Fuck you. I love cats. Right. And then, you know, I had people hearing that we were interested in it and they were threatening us and boycott, you know, we'll boycott you and turn you over to PETA and shit. I'm like, dude, I didn't kill the fucking cat. I'm putting it out anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then I looked at his carcinoma thing and I'm like, this is a real shitty movie. You know, as in, because, you know, he's always shitting. Yeah. And I'm just like, And he wanted too much. And like Cannibal, I mean, it took us 7 years to sell 2,000 units. But Dora wasn't a thing then.
Yeah, because now it's like the most heavily sought after release almost, like just because like
people are crazy about it.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, the thing is, like, I heard the last two Dora films, everybody's like, they pretty much suck. And
double release.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, dude, you know, you're trying to be too edgy. But then on the other hand, I got like his short from Profane Exhibit that's not in the movie because he didn't want it because he was saying that he can end up getting arrested and shit.
Is that why it took so long to get put out, or?
No, there was no rights issues. It was just that they just had there was a lot of incompetence here and there. So it's like when we got it, you know, I talked to Amanda Manuel. She's a sweetheart, by the way. She's been working on this thing forever, and she, like, you know, she fired the main guy who was like the guy who was running the show for her, but he was like, I can't even say anything. But yeah, he was fired for some very good reasons. And yeah, she had a hard time, you know, picking up the pieces, and you know, so we took it over, and we're like right there at finishing it now.
Yeah. So you said the Morandora clip is not gonna be in it?
There's two shorts that Dora did, because the first one he did, right? I forget what it's called, right? But the fucking asshole actually mutilates real corpses in his hospital that he works at. And they're all handicapped. So, you know, a handicap bus didn't just like explode and he had a bunch of dead handicapped people to where he could do that. He actually did it over a series of months, you know, to where somebody was missing an arm or a limb or something. And that's when he actually mutilated and shot it. And he gave him the finished film, but then he was like, oh, wait, if you put that out, then I could get arrested.
No shit.
Yeah. So here, let me make you another movie. So he made him another movie, and that's in the Profane Exhibit. Now, the one that he could actually get arrested for will be on the disc, but it's going to be a special feature.
Damn.
Huh.
Yeah, because it's like, you know.
Do you have less issues of it if you do it as a special feature versus putting it on the release, or do they still count that as being like, no, it's still?
He could still get in massive fucking trouble.
Yeah, no, I know. It just seems like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the thing is, it's like, you know, we want to actually sell Profane Exhibit.
Yeah, are you worried about it getting confiscated, like, or anything if it has illegal material on it?
no, I'm not worried about it, but you know, it's like Dora didn't want it in the movie, and he made another movie for it. And the other movie he made is great, you know. But it's like he's mutilating real corpses. Okay?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's like.
Well, they've done that in other movies. They've used real corpse as source. Like, isn't the Beyond they've used, or one of the Beyonds, either the Beyond or From Beyond, that used.
It wasn't From Beyond or the Beyond. The Beyond didn't have any real corpses in that. You might be thinking Thriller, A Cruel Picture.
Oh, okay.
They used a real corpse in that. I think they poked its eye out or something like that.
Okay. Because I've heard of like a couple films that have used it, so I just wasn't sure about the legality of that.
Yeah. I mean, like Andrew Iskanoff for Philosophy of the Knife. I produced that with him, and yeah. He told me he got into a fucking morgue in Russia, and he threw a bunch of bugs on the corpses. And I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, don't do that. Just you're doing horror movie. Just keep with the fake shit. Yes, and we stuck a cockroach up a girl's vagina. And I'm like, what? Don't do that. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Dang.
And the thing is, when you see the Russian morgue, oh, dude, no wonder why you could throw bugs on the corpses. They were all covered in bugs in the first place.
Oh, really?
Just tons of bodies all stacked up on each other. It looks.
I'm
like
just relocating them, you know.
yeah, you know. So it's like, so I mean, you can get, you know, usually if you, I don't know how, you know, legally you're supposed to have the family sign off on it or something.
Oh, okay. So if you can, but as long as there's some rights,
the
because obviously
Men Behind the Sun, they signed off for the bodies, is what I remember hearing.
Yeah, because they used a real body in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens here and there. Yeah, but you know, it's like those are classics. I mean, if trying to use a dead corpse now.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff to be like, I mean, I guess Charlotte's Net, like, you can use real footage of stuff, but like, it's not the same, you know.
Yeah, and if people want real stuff, there's tons of places on the web that you can find that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, if you want the real death stuff, get the real death stuff. That's your bag, okay? But you know, it shouldn't be in a movie. You know, at least it shouldn't. it is now and then, but you know. So I guess the guy figured out that he'd probably be looking at fucking a life term.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why we're putting it as an extra.
Cool.
So going into another thing that's been taking a little bit is the whole Gutter Balls 2. Where is that at with getting put out?
Marcus is finishing up the editing. He's telling me he's going to be done on the 18th.
Oh, okay.
Birthday, right? So great. Once he's done, then I got Big Fucking Monster. Then we'll just what we'll have to do is, you know, I'll do a new announcement on that damn Indiegogo and start getting everybody's, like, you know, addresses renewed and shit like that. You know, make sure I have the real addresses for everybody because it's been forever. Then we'll manufacture and we'll let some people, you know, buy copies if they want, you know, through the Indiegogo as well, you know. Hopefully that'll cover some of the cost. And then we get to send out all the versions that everybody paid Nicholson for back in the day.
I paid Ryan on PayPal without the Indiegogo, so I'm kind of fucked.
Oh, you're sort of fucked, but all you got to do is reach out to us.
All right.
We'll have like a separate email and say, because we know Ryan did that for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I know, I'm sure somebody's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, what the fuck, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole idea is just to fix the situation.
I actually messaged Susie with the email of the PayPal like 4 years ago or something. So I mean, maybe people should just do that. Just try to find your old PayPal email or whatever and send that to them to prove that you bought it.
They have, you know, I mean, I know plenty of people that don't have their old emails anymore.
That's
they don't
true.
have this and that. So I figure we'll get bit a little bit,
but not enough where it matters.
Yeah. You know, so and I wanted to do that because, you know, it's good for the industry, good for the fans, and, you know, hopefully it'll help us.
And what are you gonna do with the more dead new girls and the dead new girls stuff? Is that gonna be bonus features, or
the dead nude girls is actually on Hanger.
Oh, okay.
So more dead nude girls will probably end up on Gutterballs 2 as an extra.
Okay. Well, isn't it basically Gutterballs 2? It's like a lot of it is.
It's like some of it is. So it's like he took some of the gore footage from Gutterballs 2 and he threw it together and put it on more dead nude girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird decisions going on around that time.
Yeah. Well, he kept making movies or different release names too, like, you know.
Yeah, you know, like Star Killer used to be also named
Cock Monster or Cock Massacre. What was those?
There was Star Vehicle, was Bleeding Lady.
Oh yeah, Bleeding Lady.
Yeah.
I had Bleeding Lady.
I've never heard of the cock torture monster. Or whatever.
Well, I forgot what it was. It was like I have to look. I forgot what it's called. I'll look it up. It has some weird name.
Oh yeah. So.
But then he's got something on Profane Exhibit too, which
the
way
Good Wife.
back in the day he sent me that short, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that one we had to do a new re-edit of it. Because the version that we got was like in 780, or it was lower. It was something was wrong with it, so we went back to the master tapes from the DP, and we got all of it from him with all the audio and stuff. So we re-edited The Good Wife.
Damn. So you pretty much did a remaster of it with some recuts and stuff. That sounds like a lot of work.
No, it is. That's why it's been taking us so long. And the thing is, we're small. We're a small company.
Yeah. That's a lot of bad luck for one. I mean, go figure with all the filmmakers you have on there, but that's a lot of bad luck for one release that you've had.
Yeah. I mean, people were saying for years that it'll never see the light of day. I know I haven't been helping with taking our time editing it, but like 2 months ago, I was like, okay, we're not putting out a single release from Unearthed, so we just focus on Profane for 2 months. And the only thing we got left now is some sound effects that we're missing. And my editor is recording those sounds this week. So it should be done. I'm hoping about 2 weeks, because we just got Old Man into the system, so Dave doesn't have to fuck with that. David Hood is my editor, graphic designer, webmaster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we do everything in-house, you know. So he's just been doing the Profane Exhibit thing. And yeah. The next release will be Dr. Lamb, because we got all the extras for that finally. And then it should be Evil Dead Trap 2. I don't even think we announced that yet.
Yeah, I don't think I knew about that. I knew you guys were doing Evil Dead.
I knew there was an
Evil
Dead Trap, but...
Yeah. We got the first one, and we got the second one too. That'll be a nice new Blu-ray too.
Nice.
And that one's a cool movie. It's violent. It's fucked up. It's weird. I know, because we released the DVD back in the day. Mm-hmm. It did okay. Nothing great. And I think it's just because the chick that stars in it is not skinny. She's got a little weight to her. And yeah, people didn't like watching her. At least that's what I was told.
Well, maybe people's idea on what a good-looking body is has changed over the years. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know.
Did you ever think about doing a whole Men Behind the Sun since you put the fourth one out?
Oh no, that's we hit up the company and they're like, well, we already sold Men Behind the Sun, but we have the other two. And I'm like, and I talked to Louis Justin at Masker, because he got Men Behind the Sun, and he's like, no, dude, go grab the other two. I'm not going to buy them. And I'm like, I mean, Laboratory of the Devil is, can be seen by itself, because it's just like remake of Men Behind the Sun almost, you know. And Narrow Escape's pretty hokey in a way.
Yeah, isn't the third one's like an action film, sort of, right?
Yeah, and they just reused shots from Men Behind the Sun and Laboratory.
Yeah.
So they reused shots in it too, and you know. So I didn't buy Laboratory and Narrow, and then Justin bought the other two. So he's supposed to be doing a nice box set. I know he's been hassling with the scan from them, just because, you know.
You're not messing with Evil Dead Trap 3?
No, because it's a drama.
Yeah, I noticed that when I watched. It has like a murder in it or something, but it's not really a horror film.
Yeah, it's not really a horror film. And everybody's like, oh, you need to put out Evil Dead Trap 3. And I'm like, oh, it's not a horror film.
No one's going to watch it.
No one's going to watch it. And, you know, I mean, maybe somebody will buy it for the completist in them.
Yeah.
But, you know, no. So that sort of sucks.
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube or something. Like, it's up on YouTube, and it's not good.
So is it? Yeah. I mean, that's the hard part. Now that we're doing well, and we're trying to pick up bigger movies so that we can make more money, so we can do more crazy shit. Because that's the idea, is that we make more crazy shit. You know, because I like owning stuff. Because then the movies don't go out of print.
Yep. Exactly.
You know, and that's the thing. I mean, all the companies, they're just basically renting the movies to put them out. Because after 7 years, 10 years, 5 years, it goes back. And I don't know what Vinegar Syndrome does, because they put stuff out, it's only available for their sales, and then suddenly, boom, they're out of print. So I don't know what they do. I need to talk to Joe a little bit more, just because they got tons of stuff that's out of print. And I'm like, why is it out of print? You guys just release that. So I don't know what they do, because usually we
very limited run.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's they put out too much stuff, and that's the thing. I'm seeing tons of other companies put out stuff to where I'm like, that ain't gonna sell.
Yeah,
what the hell's going on? And everybody's all excited for like the bottom level of the video store, and it's like, you know, because Microwave Massacre is terrible. Arrow put that out. And
I love Microwave Massacre.
It's got some good one-liners in it.
I think it's mostly because of the humor. I think that movie is fucking hilarious.
I thought it was funny too. I was drunk when I watched it, and it was like 10 years ago.
It's the humor. It's not a good in the horror. It's just him. It's his fucking one-liners. It hits a lot. It's fucking hilarious.
But it was like when I had my video store, nobody rented it. Nobody wanted to buy it. I had it on my bootleg shop back in the day. Nobody bought it. Once in a while, I'd make a copy of it.
Yeah.
But that was it.
It's like that and Parents, I think, are one of those ones.
Well, Parents is good.
Oh, Parents was dope. Everyone rented Parents.
Oh, I love Parents.
Yeah, Parents is dope. That's a good movie. And big budget, this and that. But it's like I'm seeing everybody get excited for like stuff that was like, you know, the terrible horror movies to begin with,
like Ghoulies 4 or something.
Oh yeah.
Or like, okay, the one
Ghoulies Go to College.
That's a good one. I like
was Phantom of the Mall. I hate Phantom of the Mall.
Oh,
that was just one of those that just back in the day, because you know I rented it, and it's like totally forgettable. For some odd reason, everybody's like, oh, Phantom of the Mall. I'm like, what the hell? That was like one of the lamest movies back then.
Vinegar Syndrome did that with Kathy's Curse, and I duped myself into buying it, and it was a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's just like, you know, there's a reason why some of these haven't been out again. Yeah. And there's a reason, you know. And, you know, I mean, the so bad it's good, it's hard to get that so bad that it's good.
Unless you have a label specific to that, you know, that does well. Like
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I look at a bunch of these other labels, and I take a look at all the stuff that they have or had, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, out of this whole library, there's only 5 titles that I wanted to put out. I'm like, what the hell? You guys saw all this other stuff. I mean, like, I don't understand how Dark Force releasing is doing anything.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's just because I'm an old gore hound.
Mhm.
That like back in the 80s, I had a video library that, you know, the VHS collectors would fucking juice over.
Mhm.
And that was in 88. So I was watching that stuff, you know, because we had one of the first VHSs back in 1979.
Damn.
And, you know, yeah. And we'd go to the video store, and the video store only had 200 tapes. That was the whole
Yeah, and
store.
they're like $100 a pop back then, you know, like the
Mhm,
VHSs.
mhm. Yeah. And I'm slowly seeing the prices go up for the 4K now. 4K is expensive as hell to do. Not the scan, it's the authoring. That's why we haven't done anything in 4K yet. But the thing is, we work with everybody, you know, Severin, Vinegar, everybody, Arrow, everybody behind the scenes. So I know Vinegar and them, they're getting they got a guy that can do the 4K authoring, and it's relatively cheaper because the authoring alone was the prices we got, 10 grand. 10 grand just for the authoring of a disc. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, there's movies that don't even cost that much.
That's for 4K scan? For a 4K?
Yeah. For the 4K authoring.
Oh, authoring.
Yeah, just the authoring, just to put it on the disc.
Oh, wow.
Fuck that. I mean, the prices are going down now, which I heard, which is cool. So we might end up doing the Serbian extended cut with a 4K disc.
Mhm.
But, you know, I'm seeing everybody's doing all these 4K discs for like $50, $60. And I'm like, what the hell? How many are you selling? That price is
Yeah, I heard you thinking about doing a release. I heard you talking about like doing one where we have like every single type of cut that there is of Serbian film and kind of making like a collection of it.
Yeah. Because I still got tons of footage behind the scenes, you know, because I'm making that documentary too.
Mhm.
And that's cool because I talked to the director just Saturday, and you know, he's in Serbia, and they're not having a hard time yet because of the Ukraine thing,
Mhm.
but they're only one country away from that,
Mhm.
you know. And I know he was dealing with some government stuff because his family owns a giant company over there, and I've been waiting for him to help me finish the translation for it because I don't know what they're saying. And I edited 150 hours worth of behind the scenes footage down to 3 hours. So I have all this footage, and me and Serjan were going over it via TeamViewer, and, you know, going over, and he's telling me what to write down, what they're saying, and we're cutting stuff out that we don't need. But then, you know, Christmas came, and so he hasn't been able to do anything for like 6 months. But he just told me the other day he was thinking about it, you know, and he wants to get on the ball. And I'm like, good, let's get this. 'Cause once I have this translation, then I can easily edit this into one of the most sexiest comedic documentaries you'll probably see.
I think that this documentary is what people are the most hyped for in the Unearthed upcoming catalog too, because I keep hearing people anytime I talk about, I'm like, oh yeah, and there's a documentary coming up. People are like, ooh, I would watch that. Like even the people that wouldn't watch Serbian film want to see the documentary. So
oh yeah, and that's the cool thing too is I don't think people are they don't know what to expect. Because I think, you know, that some people think that it was just all baby rapers and shit. But no, it's fucking professional fucking film crew, tons of people, and everybody just is having a blast, having a good time. And, you know, it's sexy because there's plenty of nudity.
the trailer you put out was really engaging too. I think it was a good,
yeah. The trailer's good.
Trailer.
I'm surprised at the amount of views. But, you know, it's something that's being held up, you know.
So what exactly is Pot Digger? I know it's like another distribution company within your company.
That's right, Nicholson's. Right?
That was Nicholson's one, right? Okay. Is that still like in existence and you're working with them, or is that, did you take over it, or?
I'm working with the family.
Okay.
Okay, and the family knows that you know, because the whole Indiegogo thing, you know, I mean, we're going to be given all the perks and shit, you know. And Megan, she's an FX artist as well. That's Ryan's wife, widowed wife. She's talking about, you know, because I guess there was some BBK statues that Ryan was selling, and I think he sold 12 of them. So Megan said that she might be able to like make 12 and you know, give them to the people that paid for them, you know, and then we'll give. They know that the whole idea was to put out the whole Plot Digger library. That way, it'll help with the money to be able to manufacture and ship and all that stuff. So that's cool of them, and they know that. So yeah, so I'm working with the family.
Okay.
So that's cool, you know, and they've been really helpful. Actually, Roy sent me 100 copies of the Gutterballs bootleg edition, and some people bought that in their perks as well. And that's Gutterballs just with like the soundtrack from Van Halen and
yeah, I've seen that one floating around.
Yeah,
a few people like balls deep, the whole thing.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, I got that, and so 100 people will get it from their orders. I mean, you know, yeah, it's hard because, you know, they pre-bought Gutterballs 2 and 3, and I think I even promoted the one that's impossible for us to do. It was a mini bowling bag, and all the DVDs are supposed to fit in there, and it's supposed to have like all the different versions of Gutterballs. 2, 3. Cool. Well, yeah, well, it's cool, but you can't buy mini bowling bags anywhere.
Yeah, you have to custom make everything.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Ryan was thinking when he put that up.
He has a lot of interesting stuff, like those Chinese to-go box ones that he made, and there's a bunch of random ones. Even that one with the Colosophy bag that came with a Colosophy bag.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Are you gonna do any of those kind of weird things just as like a tribute?
I didn't think of it.
I actually wanted to show something real quick. Ryan sent me the CD of his rap group, Disturbed Company. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's called Cabin Fever.
Uh-huh.
It's really, really fun stuff, but here's a picture of him operating on somebody on the back.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
That's really cool. That's cool.
Yep. So, yeah, sorry. Go on.
It's okay. But yeah, I haven't thought of anything like that. I mean, right now I'm working on, like I said, the society figures, and I'm working on Jeremy's putting together. We're recreating the butcher knife from the Untold Story, and we're going to do a special limited edition of that. And the butcher knife is the exact same size, look, everything, you know, and we picked the one in the movie to where it's jagged because like he broke the blade when hitting the human bones. So it looks badass. So we're replicating those. And because I know Untold Story in Germany, they made a box set of it where it came with 2 chopsticks and 2 fake barbecue pork butts. And those were $120.
Jeez.
Damn.
And they sold 3,000 of them.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, okay, so, you know, what we'll probably end up doing is we'll put it up there on Indiegogo for pre-sale to see how many we need to make. You know, we'll already be making the butcher knives. So yeah, so we're recreating the butcher knife from Untold Story to make into a really cool box set. And that it'll probably be about 100, 120 bucks. But it's a hell of a lot cooler than 2 chopsticks and 2 fake buns.
Seriously. For that money, they better give you something you could at least eat.
Right?
Yeah. You couldn't eat them.
No, it's kind of like Lawn Pigs that came out with like barbecue. Like they had a bunch of like teriyaki jerky, like beef jerky. So
really?
yeah. they labeled it, I think, as like human meat.
That's kind of cool.
Human jerky.
Especially if they made their own jerky. That's kind of cool. Kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any personal relationship with most of the directors of your releases? Like, are you friends with anybody still?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still friends with mostly everybody except the like Untold
Lucifer
Story.
Valentine.
Like, I don't. Yeah. No, Lucifer Valentine. I mean, I never talked to Marion Dora when I released Cannibal. Like the indie guys, yeah, I'm friends with all those guys. And yeah, because I'm always trying to work with people too. So when somebody's cool and shit, then I'll try and work with you until I find out you're not cool. But yeah, no. I mean, I'm always talking to Surgeon because we're in the middle of that German lawsuit.
Yeah.
And and so the doctor, so yeah, no, so I mean, some directors disappear. It's always weird.
Like Scott Phillips. Like,
oh no, he's still around.
Oh, is he still? I mean, he's still kind of okay. Not Scott Phillips.
Scott Stevens.
Scott Stevens. Sorry.
Phil Stevens. Phil Stevens.
Phil Stevens. That's what I'm talking about. Sorry. I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, Phil was a cool cat, but I think he's gone. I don't know what's up with him.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those accusations of him ripping off people. I'm sure kind of made him skip out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was gonna put out Flowers too, but I didn't want to put out Lung back in the day because I'm like, look, dude, I know what the sales are going to be. I'm not really going to make any money.
Mm-hmm.
No one's got to be out on Unearthed Films. I'm like, okay.
I mean, I'm glad you came out the 1-2 combination with Lung and 1 and 2, even though it's technically Lung 2 is the main one.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, what the hell is this Lung 2? What's Lung 1? He's like, well, it's Lung 2. I'm like, oh, dude, that's going to confuse the manufacturers. I need Lung 1. And he's like, well, I got all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, throw Lung on that. And you can say Lung 2 on the movie, whatever. I'm like, let's not put Lung 2 on it because then people will be like, where's Lung 1?
That is interesting. I was always curious about that. I was just like, was one a short and then he made the other as like a longer version of that? Or like, what was his whole like thought?
No, he from what I understand, he made the full version and he just had tons of extra footage.
Oh.
So that's why he turned into Lung 1.
Huh.
And I'm like, okay, well, let's do that and we'll just call it Lung.
Oh, he could have done like Lung 1.5 or,
Yeah. But it's Lung 1 because that's what I said. Yeah. Because he wanted 2 for some odd reason.
Mm-hmm.
Lung 2, I don't know. Artists, you just got to go with it.
Yeah, I have Lung 2, like his release, or I don't know who else released it, but just the Lung 2 individual one too. But
yeah, his rights. The Flowers is now out of print. I think we got like maybe 40 copies left at the distributor.
You did a really good job on the packaging on that one. For Flowers.
The 3-disc sets, ouch! Those cost a lot to make. They cost me about $8 each.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why they're higher retail.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, because usually like a Blu-ray or DVD, that's like $2, $2.50. It's got the slipcase. I think the prices have just gone up actually now. Like everything. Everything.
I think if anything, like maybe the American Guinea Pig's doing them just because he already did the other one. I guess he didn't do Sacrifice, but that wasn't because he did technically make Sacrifice.
Yeah, I didn't technically make Sacrifice, but I also didn't have jack shit for extras either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I need some extras. Shoot some interviews with you guys. And I get nothing. And I'm like, okay. Because, I've had people, I want another 3-disc just like the other 2. And I'm like, it'd be like 2 discs worth of nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can videotape myself eating soup with my beard. You don't want to watch that, but I could put that as an extra. So yeah, so that's why Sacrifice, and we actually just ran out of the Sacrifice Blu-rays and making more. The 3-disc for Bouquet keeps selling well. That's good. It's yeah, it's like the popularity just from sales. It's Bouquet, Solomon, Bloodshot, and Sacrifice, and we'll find out what happens with this Slaughter of the Swine. It's
I think they'll do well. I'm stoked for both of them, or I'm stoked for all of them. But
yeah, especially the Alien one.
The Alien one, that one should be like balls, because Jeremy's been working on like little alien scalpels and fucking crazy shit like that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I figure he'll probably, because he does it because he works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing stuff on the part-time, but he's got his friends also doing stuff too, and they're all like the top guys in Hollywood. Not the top, but they're all working on the Marvel stuff. So they all know, you know, really know what they're doing. So they plan on having these weird fucking metal tentacle surgical things, and yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I got the screenplay here, and yeah. It'll be We'll see what happens with Chumbucket, because I'm still waiting on that stuff.
Oh yeah, that one's. I'm excited about that too.
That was good. So, yeah. Any other questions? I think.
That's it.
We're about ready to close out the show. We're at like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you.
Sorry,
so much.
I didn't expect that was so long.
Thank you so much for your time. Like, we're humongous fans and supporters.
Oh, thank you guys.
It means a lot
I really
to us.
appreciate it. No, it means a lot to us. You know, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing if it wasn't for folks like you. So
Yeah,
thank you. You know, and hopefully you enjoy the weird shit we got coming.
No, I'm stoked for every release. Like, you keep surprising me too. I'm like, all right, I think I'm caught up with everything. Oh, nope. They got like 5 more that just announced.
You're burying him in DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
I'm running out of room. Just kidding.
Oh, that's a bad thing. Yeah, I call that maximum impact,
Yeah.
where you have so much stuff that you can't move around too much. And
Yeah.
that's when you need to sell your stuff.
That's basically where I'm at right here. Like, my whole shelves are maxed. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah, my shelves, it's just all unearthed.
Mhm.
Because, you know, I ship out from here, so yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, guys, well, it's been great having me on.
Well,
Yeah, no,
thank you
good
so
chat.
much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week, and till next time.
Yeah, we'll see you around.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. That was awesome. It was really good to talk with Stephen Biro, legend, big fan, you know, big collector of his. And so, yeah, that was really cool to be able to chat with him. Definitely some good information there, stuff I had no idea about, and it's good to see how involved he was. You know, he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for checking us out again on the video podcast that we're doing. I think it's working out pretty well. Once again, you can check us out on all platforms. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Anchor if you want to go on the website. And then YouTube, of course, is kind of like our main video source until we get kicked off of there. So
yeah, but Spotify you could watch video on
Exactly.
it too, which is nice. So it's nice to do it on there too. So you have options. But yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate everything.
all right, later.